In 1980, I was working for the Oregon Journal and was sent up to Mount St. Helens a lot. I'd usually go up there with a photographer. We'd go find our story for the day and see what was going on. I always liked stopping by to visit Harry Truman. Now, he was the owner of the Spirit Lake Lodge right on the shore of Spirit Lake, and he was a character. He became famous around the world because he refused to leave. He was kind of bullheaded and stubborn and wouldn't do it, and eventually cost him his life up there when the big eruption came. At 26, you're a little fearless, and I should have had fear. The mountain was bulging. There were these series of small eruptions, and I was up there for a lot of the earthquakes that were going on. I remember one day when the road was waving up and down like that. The day before, on May 17th, I was up there doing a story, and I went to visit Harry Truman, and he asked me if I was going to stay at his lodge. I'd been promising for weeks and weeks that I was going to get a room there one night and write a story about spending the night with Harry Truman. He had no telephone, though. I had to file a story. If he'd had a telephone, I would have stayed there that night, and I would have filed my story by phone, and I would have died early the next morning along with him. You never really fear the bullet that you don't know is coming for you. That's the way I feel about that. I didn't have time to be afraid until after. I think a lot about what would have happened if I had stayed there that night, of the things in my life that I wouldn't have had. My children, my job, and adventures of filing stories from all over the world. I had a very interesting career in journalism and a very, very interesting career here at ODOT as the Public Information Officer. But none of that would have happened if he'd had a phone at his lodge up there in the mountain. It was a close call.